volume. I thought you meant like. Great. Thank you so much. I'm glad you have Scatterbomb, everyone. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Hi, Jay.
Good? Alright, before I start, I'm going to pitch this movie idea that I have. But it can also be a television show or like a short story. It really depends on the money that you guys want to invest in it. Because I'm looking for investors. But imagine that you're a stand-up comedian. Imagine that like you woke up after like being in a coma for like 5 years because of like, I don't know, like mono or something. We'll work out the kinks later. But like, and then you have to catch up on all of the material that you missed. Like you have to figure out if like Trump got reelected. Like you have to re-traumatize someone by asking them if Trump's president. You have to figure out like all of the material that you missed, and then you also have to like deal with like the trauma of being in a coma. Like there's gotta be baggage with that. We've seen Kill Bill. We know you have to like learn to walk again. I don't know. And yeah, that's the pitch actually. So yeah, your enthusiasm's deafening, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks. But I love to write short stories and stuff because like I'm an artist. But I wrote this short story the other night when I was in like a catatonic state because like life. And I wrote it and I reread it the next morning and I was shocked to say the least. It was about Kermit and Miss Piggy's post-separation. Exactly. And, but you guys heard about that, right? Like that's news. Like Miss Piggy and Kermit separated. Like isn't that really like sad that we're making up news about puppets? We can't handle real news anymore. We have to make this fictional stuff. But it struck a chord in me obviously because I wrote this short story. And it was like Kermit like waking up in like a shitty hotel room and like his boxers like surrounded by beer and like Miss Piggy waking up next to Animal, the red drummer, which I love, so obviously he got a cameo in this masterpiece. And I was reading this and I was like, this is like an extremely inappropriate story, like just ruining this children's franchise that I love. Like, why would I write this? And it came to me, it's because I'm a bad person. I'm not like a horrible person on like the scale of bad people, but if someone like fell in front of me and I would just like move on and let them learn their lesson, because I think that's noble. A lot of people think that's like bad, but I think it's noble. That happened to me one time actually, like on a first date. We were walking back to the subway and this woman fell in front of us and I moved to like walk around her and get to the subway. And my date stopped to like help her, and that's when I knew we weren't gonna have a second date. I'm the queen of like first dates that fizzle out into nothing until you forget they happened. But that's actually not really necessarily true because I remember every single first date I've ever been on. It all started in middle school. I really liked this guy. He was like super edgy, like he listened to like Matt and Kim and had a penny board and wore Vans all the time. He was super edgy. And we would message on Facebook and, which is like, you know, we're so romantic. But we'd message on Facebook and he'd be like, what are you doing right now? And I'd be like, oh, just watching Pretty Little Liars and writing some poetry. Because, you know, he had to know that I was super edgy too. I write my poetry while I'm watching Pretty Little Liars, not like most girls. But we were messaging one night and I could tell that something was wrong because he wasn't putting as many emojis. And so I asked him what was wrong and he told me that they lost the drummer to their band, which I saw as a golden opportunity. So I told him that I used to drum and I could fill in for the position. And he believed it. He invited me over that weekend to his house to drum, and which I was very excited about. You know, I had this first date with my crush, and all I had to do was lie about everything. So I went to his house. Ooh.
That's good, right?
That's great. Thank you. So I went to his house that weekend, and it didn't really occur to me that I would have to drum until I got there. And so we went to his room, and he was demonstrating the beat that I would have to play on his drum set. I'm saying drum set, it was like one snare drum. And he demonstrated it for me, and he was like, you think you can do this? And I was like, yeah, I can do this. And he went over to his microphone to start singing, and he was like, come in after the 8th count. And I was like, okay. And he started singing. He started singing. I immediately started drumming. I don't know what 8th count is. And I knew that it was wrong immediately by his face, but instead of admitting that I didn't know how to drum, I just started playing louder. 'Cause nothing proves more that you know how to play the drums like making your mistakes louder. So 5 minutes goes by of him just, looking at me like I'm an elementary school band concert, and me just playing these loud mistakes until all of a sudden I just hear and I look down and I had broken the drum. Cheap drum, in my defense, ladies and gentlemen. Like, extremely cheap. I don't know what it was made out of, paper or something. But, evidently, no second date. Yeah. Well, that's all I have for you tonight, guys. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy Scatterbomb in 3D, everyone. Put on your glasses, get ready. It's going to be a great show.